So let's talk about a tiny creature that's causing some absolutely massive problems for one of the most important animals on the planet, the honeybee. And trust me, this isn't just a story about some bug. It's a full-on invasion story, complete with deception and a whole lot of destruction.
Just look at this. This picture really says it all, doesn't it? You're looking right into the heart of a beehive, this perfect little world of hexagonal cells. But see that thing peering out? That is an intruder, an unwelcome guest. And this right here, this is where the collapse of a whole colony can begin.
You know, beekeepers have a nickname for them, hive roaches. Not exactly a compliment, right? But believe me, it is well earned. So what exactly is this thing? And what on earth is it doing inside this super organized, complex society of bees? Well, that's the mystery we're going to unpack.
All right, first things first. Let's properly identify our culprit. It's time to meet this so-called hive roach.
Okay, so officially, this beetle is both a parasite and a scavenger. But here's the real kicker. It's not native to most of the places it's causing trouble. Its original home is way over in sub-Saharan Africa. The bees there have had thousands of years to figure out how to deal with it. But bees everywhere else, yeah, they were not ready for what was coming.
And here it is. Get a good look at our antagonist. The scientific name is Athena temuta, but pretty much everyone just calls it the small hive beetle, or SHB for short. It's small, it's dark, it looks kind of like it's wearing armor, and this little beetle has become a huge menace for beekeepers all over the world.
So what makes it so bad? Well, look at its diet. I mean, the question isn't what does it eat, it's what doesn't it eat. It goes after the bees' food, the pollen, the nectar, the honey. It eats the next generation of bees, the larvae, and it is not picky at all. It'll eat living bees, dead bees, it'll even eat other dead hive beetles. It literally consumes a hive from the inside out. So, the big question is, how did a beetle from sub-Saharan Africa end up in hives all over the planet? Well, its story is kind of an unwanted global tour. This timeline pretty much tells the whole story. For more than 100 years, it was basically just a scientific curiosity, first written about back in 1867. Then, 1996, everything changed. It was found in the United States, probably having hitched a ride on a ship into Charleston, South Carolina. And from there, it just exploded. By 2002, it was in Canada. And today, it's a full-blown continental invader, found in nearly every single state. So how did it travel so fast once it made landfall? Well, we kind of gave it a superhighway. The whole practice of migratory beekeeping, trucking hives all over the country to pollinate crops, it carried the beetle from one state to the next. It also hitched rides in those packages of bees that people buy, which made sure it spread far and wide. Okay, so we know who it is and how it got here. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of its attack. This is the beetle's life cycle, and it's basically a blueprint for how to destroy a honeybee colony. This diagram here is the beetle's entire playbook. It might look a little complex, but it shows every single stage, from the second an adult beetle flies into a hive to the moment a brand new generation is born to do it all over again. Let's just walk through this. It all starts when an adult beetle finds a hive and moves in. The female lays her eggs in little cracks and crevices anywhere the bees can't find them. Then the larvae hatch, and this is where the real nightmare begins. They just start tunneling through everything, eating non-stop. Once they're full, the larvae actually crawl out of the hive and burrow into the soil to pupate. They transform underground, and then, finally, a whole new wave of adult beetles emerges, ready to fly off and start the cycle all over again. Now, just think about this number for a second. 10 to 16 days. That's it. That's how long those larvae are feasting inside the hive. In less than 2 weeks, these things can completely overwhelm a colony, turning beautiful honeycombs into this slimy, fermented mess. It's awful. And after that brief, devastating party, the larvae spend the next 3 to 4 weeks underground, just quietly transforming. It's this hidden threat building up right outside the hive's front door, with hundreds, maybe thousands of new beetles getting ready to emerge. So a destructive pest is one thing, but the small hive beetle has a secret weapon. It has this really insidious trick that makes it so incredibly successful, and its why this tiny invader truly matters. And here is the major plot twist in this whole story. It's not just a simple predator-prey relationship. In this really bizarre turn of events, the honeybees are actually manipulated into helping the beetles. Can you believe that? They are literally tricked into feeding the very creatures that are there to destroy their home.
So how is that even possible? Well, it all comes down to a behavior called trophallaxis. That's basically the mouth-to-mouth sharing of food that happens in a bee colony. And what the adult hive beetles have figured out is how to mimic the begging behavior of a baby bee. They tap the nurse bees with their antenna in just the right way and trick them into feeding them, just as if they were one of their own.
This gets right to the heart of the beetle's strategy. It doesn't just steal food and resources, it actually co-opts the social structure of the hive itself. By getting the bees to feed them, the beetles save energy, they live longer, and they can lay way more eggs. It is pure internal sabotage that just drains the colony, weakening it from the inside out until there's nothing left. You know, the story of the small hive beetle is really a huge reminder of just how interconnected our world is. This little thing caught a ride on a ship, and then with our help, it just spread like wildfire across a continent. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In a world where goods and people are moving faster and farther than ever before, what's the next tiny invader just waiting for its ship to come in?